You're running an ad on Spotify to spread the word about your latest release. You created the ad and picked out your audience.
What's up guys? Good day! Welcome to our channel. Are you ready to analyze? Well, I hope you are, because today we will be learning some cool and fun science stuff. So, let's go!
So for today's video, some of our classmates will be presenting some real-life applications and explanations of specific topic in the general chemistry, biology, and physics.
Oh, hi there! Amidst the pandemic, students is now at their online classes. So many students rely on coffee. Making coffee is one of the real-life scenario of chemistry in our daily lives. How is it so?
Now, what is a dilute solution? Well, we all know that a solution is made out of two components, the solute and the solvent. Exempligration is when you dissolve sugar in the water, you get a sugar solution. So here, the sugar is the solute and the water is the solvent. So, what is a dilute solution? A dilute solution is a solution which contains small amount of solute dissolved in the solvent. For example, is when you dissolve 1 tablespoon sugar in this large amount of water, you will get a dilute solution. So basically, what is dilute solution? So in simple definition, a dilute solution is when an amount of a solute is small and the amount of the solvent is large.
So hi guys, this is the things that we need for our experiment. First of all, we have here the 10 ml hot water. We have here a 15 ml fresh milk. And of course, we have here the clean container. And of course, the electric scale that we are going to use so that we can have a precise measurement. I'm already done measuring the solutions that we are going to use for this experiment. Thus, this electric scale will no longer help us anymore. So we now have here our hot water, and based on my coffee preference, I would like to add a half spoon of coffee into the 10 ml of hot water. And just like that, we now have a solution. But if we are going to add more water to this solution, it will now have a diluted solution. And now we are ready to combine the two solutions so that we can able to make an iced coffee. And now it is time to combine our two solutions. First is the coffee. And then our milk. We just added the right amount of milk, so this is now a solution. But if we are going to add another fresh milk, we will make the solution a diluted one. And that's it. That is for our today's experiment, which is the dilution of solution.
Hi guys, so for today's video, we will be talking about the reproduction of plants. So the first question is, what is reproduction? reproduction is the production of new offspring in plants, which can be accomplished by sexual or asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction requires genetic material from two parents. The parent plants have male and female sexes called gametes. The genetic material from the male and female gametes combines to produce offspring, and this process is called fertilization. Seeds produced through fertilization contains genetic material from the parents. As a result, the offspring are not genetically identical to either of the parents' plants. This genetic diversity can help them survive if the environment changes. Flowering plants reproduce sexually through a process called pollination. The process contains male sex organs called stamens and female sex organs called pistils. The anther is the part of the stamen that contains pollen. This pollen needs to be moved to a part of the pistil called the stigma. Plants can either self-pollinate or cross-pollinate. Self-pollination happens when a plant's own pollen fertilizes its own ovules, while cross-pollination happens when the wind or animals move pollen from one plant to fertilize the ovules on a different plant. The advantage of cross-pollination is that it promotes genetic diversity. Some plants have features that prevent self-pollination, such as pollen and ovules that develop at different times. Fertilization is the next step after pollination. Once it reaches the pistil, the pollen needs to fertilize an egg inside the stigma, and this egg is called an ovule. Fertilization creates fruits that contain seeds. Some fruits are fleshy, like oranges and watermelons. Others are dry, like acorns or walnuts. Asexual reproduction, on the other hand, only requires DNA from one parent. It creates offspring that are genetically identical to the parent. Genetically identical offspring are called clones. Clones lack genetic diversity, makes them more susceptible to disease. It also makes them less adaptable to changes in the environment. There are different methods of asexual reproduction. They include vegetative propagation and fragmentation. Vegetative propagation does not require seeds or spores. Instead, offspring grow from a part of the parent plant. In different plants, vegetative propagation happens in different ways. Here are a few of the examples of vegetative propagation. Garlic, onions, and tulip plants are reproduced using true bulbs. New bulbs grow off of the parent bulb's basal plate. Cells were produced using corms, which are also similar to true bulbs. However, a corm doesn't have as many layers. Corms are used up during the growing season and get replaced by one or more new corms. Potato plants were produced using tubers. These underground growths produce new plants from stems or growing points called eyes. Fragmentation is another form of asexual reproduction. It involves new plants growing from small parts of the parent plant that fall to the ground. For example, animals or the wind can break stems or leaves off plants. So what do you call the people who study plants? They are called horticulturists. They often use asexual reproduction through fragmentation to grow new plants. They do this by cutting a leaf off a plant and placing it in water or soil. This process is often called propagating from cuttings. So that's it. We now know the two types of reproduction in plants. See you in the next video.
Hello guys! So today, we will be discussing about alternating current and its real-life application. So first, let us define what is alternating current. So in simple definition, alternating current is an electric current that reverses its direction many times a second at regular intervals. So if we illustrate the alternating current based on its definition, if we have our point A and we have our point B, in our alternating current, the current moves from point A to the point B, then it can move again from point B to point A, and again it can move from point A to point B. That is why it is called an alternating current, since the direction of the current is alternating, while compared to the direct current where if we have a point C to point B, it will just only have a one direction. That is why it is called a direct current. Therefore, the alternating current is the alternating of the current from one point to another in a interval or in a time or in an interval. So just like in our previous example, we have seen there that the alternating current moves from point A from point B, then from point B to point A, and then it seems like it is alternating. That is why it is called an alternating current. So during this process, when a current moves from point A to point B, then point B to point A, then one cycle is completed. So this cycle is important in alternating current because it is important in determining the hertz or the frequency of the current. So the frequency of the current is equals to how many cycles of the alternating current over a second. So this frequency is in the unit of hertz. So basing on the definition of our alternating current, so if we graph the direction of the currents, we can see here the difference between direct current and alternating current. So the direct current is just a straight line since it has only a one direction, which is only from one point to another point, compared to alternating current where there is a frequency. So the graph are not straight, so they are in the more of like a wave patterns like. So alternating currents is best used in longer connection. That is why in our real life application, it is commonly used in our power main lines. So during that time in our main lines, they use alternating current with a high voltage, while when used in the transformer, it will convert to lower voltage, but it is still the same alternating current. But in our devices, some devices like the heater, the televisions, and some devices, they do not use alternating current. That is why some devices use some adapters that convert alternating current to direct current.
Hello everyone, today I'll be using two magnets to demonstrate and discuss repulsive and attractive force, also known as magnetic forces. A repulsive force is a force that causes bodies to repel one another. North to north poles, for example, will repel each other because the arrows from the two magnets point in opposite directions. In a simple term, attractive forces are forces that cause one object to attract another. When we place the north pole of one magnet near the south pole of another, they are attracted to each other. When we bring the magnetic field closer to a specific pole, its strength increases. In our daily lives, magnetic forces are used. For example, hikers use compass to navigate. Magnets are used in refrigerators. And magnets are used inside speakers to create strong vibrations which produce sound. An electric motor is one of the most common examples of magnetic forces that we are familiar with. The magnetic forces generated inside the motor wind an alternating current AC or direct current DC.
So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you learned and enjoy our video. If you enjoy our video, do not forget to like the button and comment below if you have any questions. Thanks!